Yeah, that's exactly from what I'm looking at. You're pointing at my deliciously unshaven head.
Right, right, right. Did you lose the point over here?
It's still there, but
Oh, it's still there. Okay.
yeah, it's not
Too
as
much
thick as
sunshine.
yeah, it's not as thick as it once was, and it's a lot grayer. I think is
I
really
told you, okay, I can totally see it now. But like I said, man,
there you
my children were fascinated by that for sure.
go.
For
Yeah,
sure, man.
funny. We played the Gutter Fest on Saturday. Uh,
Right? Where'd you play? And with what group this time? I mean, with Gross
ha-
Polluter?
no, Ham Apple. Ham
Okay.
Apple. Yeah, Gross Polluter's kind of over. Although I think Ray went in and recorded some vocals on some old track and sent it to that Salt Lake City punk rock podcast.
Right
I got
on,
a
right
little
on.
thing that said new Gross Polluter song. I'm gonna have to listen to this.
What's up, Airsoft? Airsoft is a new viewer just back in, How you doing?
What's up, Airsoft? But,
Thank you,
so
man. Don't forget to click that like. We're talking with John Potty right here. That's Johnny Robot. I'll link it up, so you can get to the channel. But yeah, so you played over the weekend. How was it?
oh, it was a good
Ham
show.
apple. Ham apple.
Yeah, it's a little place out here called the Garden Amphitheater. It's probably I don't know, 700 seat amphitheater bowl, and then they have a back thing called the locker room. So they
All right.
alternate main stage, locker room. We played the locker room with Ham Apple. Um,
So what's the city that the venue? What do they call the city?
it's Garden Grove,
Garden Grove. Okay, there you
so
go. Oh yeah.
hence the name Garden Amphitheater.
I kind of got that, and I got a friend Ghostface who's he's from well, he's from fucking Torrance, but he grew up in Garden City, I guess he said something like that. But I know it's like Marina Del Rey or something like that.
Well,
He's in
Torrance was
Anaheim now. He's in
okay.
Anaheim, yeah, something like that.
Okay. Yeah,
I get
I don't
confused,
know
but
Garden City, but I'm sure there is one.
or
Um,
City Gardens might have been actually,
like
if I think about it right.
Hawaiian Gardens.
Yeah, maybe, man. Maybe I know it's right over there. It's right over there for real. He's a
Yeah.
cool guy, man. He's a cool guy. He's I guess he's Mexican parents, and he's grown up, in Anaheim and such. He's definitely been to your school. So yeah.
Yeah, maybe Hawaiian Gardens. Hawaiian Gardens is like this little small area. They got a casino there, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, and I always look at like little small cities like that, or like city of industry.
Yeah.
To me, they're little incorporated organized crime havens or something.
Right, 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 right.
I could be totally
I
wrong.
know I know Don Bowles lived in City of Industry for sure because he told me about it. You know what I mean? And he said there's a lot of I guess he said there's a lot of leftovers from construction for like short term projects,
Yeah.
and you could just pick it up. You know what I mean? That's kind of like where I was from in Maryland. They don't spend a dollar cleaning the side of the road. So if you want a
Eh,
57 Chevy, just drop off the side of the road and you'll go get it. You know what I mean? It'll be rusted.
well, and most of the greater LA area,
Right?
uh, maybe, maybe not so much Orange County. Well, I guess even pockets of Orange County. If you got something, put it on the curb. It's gone. In 30 minutes. There's dudes just out there with trucks combing the neighborhoods looking for something.
They see value
Well,
in
that
everything,
crappy.
yeah?
Yeah, they could, six drawer dresser. All the things are broken. They just clean it up, paint it, and they
Right.
sell it.
Hell yeah,
Get
hell yeah.
20, $25. Old washing machine, old TVs. They pick them up. They pick them up.
Yeah, man. I mean, people make fish tank out of an old TV, stuff like that. So anything could happen.
A lot of TVs, even the flat panel ones, yeah, they fry out, and it's small part. If you know what you're doing,
Well, there's tons of metal in there and shit that you could sell off later. You know what I mean? Like all the connectors.
that's true.
There's
Take
there's a
take a
guy there's a
break from your.
guy I've seen on stream. and he's done more dabs than I've ever seen anybody do in his life. He has a little peanut butter dab and he puts it in. He names every strain and all that. But he'll smoke one and then do it 9 seconds later. And then he'll pick apart a cell phone for all the like precious metals. And I mean, it's lucrative to him, otherwise he wouldn't do it. But at the same time, he's streaming while he's picking. You
Okay.
know, I'm streaming in my evening. I'm streaming while I was going to be sitting here smoking a cigarette or whatever. Anyway, you know, I ran out of beer, so I'm smoking a spliff. But you know, I would be doing this anyway. You know, and I'm sorry, man. I did ask you before that, and you do have to pick up your wife at some point. You know, so I didn't want to waste your time, but I do want to ask you, how did you run into being a MAGA dog? How did that happen? Because
Oh.
the first time I talked to you on the phone, you said, "Oh, that did happen. I kind of forgot." You know?
Well, there's the two parts. I get busy doing so much stuff. Sometimes I forget what happened.
Right.
And then other things, I think it's just because now that I hit 60 years old, I don't think my memory is as sharp as it used to be, and I forget things. I had
Toby
a
left his lighter in his refrigerator, and I left my wallet in El Segundo.
good news. I left my heart in San Francisco, and
And my brain in Los Angeles. My heart just made me
exactly.
bitter, and my brain just made me dangerous.
So the Maga Dog thing was I don't remember
It was in the
what it was.
mustache times, right? You had a person who was handling the IG for the mustache of the day.
No, I
That's
was
the way you put it to me. Like today's mustache, right? You said you had somebody working with you in the IG that told you that the art
oh no
installation was going on.
no. I'll tell you where it came from. Okay, so
You
um,
better tell me the truth. Yeah, I don't know.
apparently Donald Trump and Cardi B had some words. Public spat. I don't know if they tweeted it back and forth, and she said something
Wow.
like, "I'll walk you like a dog." Right? So
Wow. Wow.
so
And she said, "Scrub, dip, dip, dip." You know? And she said, "I used to deal drugs in New Jersey, bitch."
who didn't? So I have some friends in the fetish industry, and Tara, Indiana, who's a pretty world famous dominatrix. She's from New York and been out here for probably 20 some years or so.
Right,
She
right.
um, uh, formed a group called Dominatrixes Against Donald Trump. So
Okay.
she got a bunch of people, and it was a small little grassroots thing, rippling through. So they used to hang out. Actually, we did a bunch of meetings at the Tom of Finland house. Which is very
Okay.
interesting if you like, gay erotica art. I mean, it's
Well,
just
yeah, I mean, talk about it. Talk about it because they don't know. You know what I mean? You have to introduce them. Like, first of all, you're talking about dominatrices, against Trump. People don't even know what that is. And then you're talking about a world famous one. We're dealing with a wide live audience, that's public, Um, Johnny Cash is the hardest thing they've ever heard in some ways. You know what I mean? And I agree, it's the hardest thing I've ever heard, but I love Chuck Berry.
Chuck Berry, Buck Cherry.
Yeah, there you go.
Uh,
There you go.
one of them played with Yoko.
I mean, you got to back up. You got
Who
to
wants
back
to
up a
do
couple steps because we're not just on the phone. You know what I mean? You got to back up a couple steps for the public
that?
here. And by the way, I see all you attending. Why don't you click like? All right, and then sub up to Johnny Robot, man. There's a lot of history that we can't get to today, but we're starting.
I could stare at my sink for an hour. In fact, sometimes that's what I'm doing here. Actually, this is what I'm staring at. I can't have anything really in the house
I
because
know you
the
have that
boys will.
minimalism. I know you have that minimalism because I was asking you, like, even if you could play an acoustic guitar, and you said, "Where would I put the phone?" And I was like, "I don't know, whatever the nearest tripod is." But there's nothing there except on the walls. Yeah, minimalism. It's beautiful, and you've lived your life. You don't need fucking crap like I have everywhere. You know what I mean?
No, I had to put it all into storage, or it's out there on the balcony. The boys are like climbing on stuff and tearing stuff off the walls. It's like I just couldn't keep up with them. So
Toby says in his deadhead way, when he got stoned, he stared at the sink. Well, when I go to the sink, I'm like, yo, this needs to be fixed. And I start doing it, right? And then when I'm on the faucet, I'm like, I'm literally polishing my knob right here. I think I have to leave. Like I catch myself and I'm like, that's where they came up with. I'm polishing my fucking knob. I gotta leave.
exactly, exactly. So hitting back to the thing. So
Right on,
Cardi
right on.
B and Donald Trump had words.
I can't believe that they even kissed each other. I can't believe they knew each other. That's so silly.
Did they?
I don't know.
It,
Why were they fighting? I wouldn't fight with anybody I wasn't already in love with.
Donald Trump fights with everybody, I think, and maybe Cardi B does too.
Right.
Yeah. So, is Cardi B the WAP wet ass pussy? Is
Yeah.
that
Yep.
so? Okay,
She did
okay,
that. Yep. Yep.
good for
And
her.
and they say WAP. And I was like, well, I grew up WAP, whatever. My father said, how'd your day go, Dago?
Yeah, yeah. What does an Italian car with a flat tire do?
I don't know, man. Tell me.
They go wop wop wop. There you go.
Hey, you know what? Why do Sicilians wear steel-toed boots?
I don't know.
Because they steal everything.
Well, let me harsh my
And
own
I
sense.
forgot. We're talking about how you became a Maga Dog.
Okay, a Maga Dog.
I
So anyway,
apologize.
so for at that time, I don't remember, probably the whole 4 years of the. I'd have to go back and look at my calendar. 4 or 5 years, we were doing this dominatrix against Donald Trump thing. And for the cast out there that's not familiar with um, Donald Trump, he was a former president, and I believe he's running again. I think he cut his ear
Yeah,
on a
yeah.
piece of
And as
plastic the other
Cody
day.
says, Cody is voting for him currently. So good for you, Cody. Like he'll probably do something with his ketchup packet, some shit.
He'll
He'll probably
probably
do
win.
something.
He'll
Yeah.
probably win. But
Good for you,
and
brother.
I've
Peace.
got opinions on that. It's like, since 1960, we've had 32 years of uh, Democrat presidents and 32 years of Republican presidents. And we're at the point we're at right now. They're essentially, two wings of the same bird.
I am completely fascinated every time they pull like a poll or a vote because they always tell me like 52% said such and such and 52% said that. And I'm like, where's the 104% that you're talking about? And by the way, they say, hey, if you're serving your country and you're overseas, you have the right to send your ballot. But they also call the election on 11:10 every evening when it's time, and it's like, "Oh, what? What is
they,
all of
they
this?"
they know the outcome today. I
Sure.
mean, come on. The polling thing is
And
so
karma,
by
you can yell it louder, and yeah, you're probably right. That's what's going to happen. But thank you to Taco Bell for the Diablo sauce.
yeah, here's what I said. They're two wings of the same bird. The money's going up. Elon Musk just put himself, his board, of which he's the primary shareholder of, voted himself a $56 billion compensation
Right, right,
package.
right, right.
Yeah,
But we weren't we weren't really getting into like political things. I'm just addressing the people who are in the audience who are like all about it. Like you're right, go ahead
well,
with it.
the whole Maga Dog thing is a political issue.
Well, I mean, they're all good with it. They're all. You think it is? I don't. My daughter,
Uh,
she just doesn't even introduce. But oh, by the way, here we go.
it's a political statement. So, and again, I'm a rabble rouser. So, I'm involved with this group. Dominatrixes are, you know, women who dominate men in that sadomasochism, bondage, and discipline. So there's a lot of leather outfits, whips, different gadgetry and stuff, and
Whips,
uh,
chains, needles, pins, and things, and
so I like to hang out. I think it's that in itself is performance art. And I hang out with a wide
also the spice of life, right?
I hang out with a wide palette of people. And so Tara Indiana, again, she's kind of
World
she's
famous, as you say.
yeah, she's a big deal. She's a big deal in that world, and a really sharp lady, a good friend of mine. I've known her for quite a while, and she calls me up one day and she's like, "We're gonna do this thing, Cardi B and the little kerfluffle with Donald Trump." She goes, Maga Dog. So she goes, I need to get a bunch of middle-aged white men, dress them up like Donald Trump, and then I'm going to have a bunch of dominatrixes walk them.
So basically, like today, I went to a lawyer, so I wear like a collared shirt, and then you have to wear like khaki pants, and then have a red MAGA hat. So,
Yeah.
by the way, to the persons and everybody down there, we're not talking about who you vote for. Vote for who you vote for. It's nothing about that. This art installation was just an idea. You know what I mean? And so you had to wear khakis, some sort of a collared, like what, a polo shirt, like me, right? Like, because I went to the lawyer, I did that. But then you had to be a middle-aged white man with the hat.
I think I should be our president. Um, my issues with Trump are probably the same issues I have with Biden. We don't have the kind of time we need to go into that. So we're just talking about this performance thing. So like
Well,
most of,
yeah, because I would like the Mothersbaugh brothers to at least have some say because I think they understand that the Earth is round.
is it?
Ovoid.
I mean, they tell me it is, and pretty,
All the
okay with
planes
it.
would be crashing into each other. I worked at the airport, like it's totally ovoid.
You clearly didn't see that picture I posted on Facebook the other week.
I missed it. I don't go on Facebook because I'm streaming here, wasting my life in an L stream.
Anyway, so we did this thing, and we went up to Hollywood and Vine, and it's round, but it's flat. So, so we went up
Yeah,
to.
that's
I'm sorry,
like
I'm
where
responding to
down the
comments.
street from me you have Silver Spring, Maryland. There's no spring and no silver. You know what I mean?
Oh
It's like
no!
Flatbush.
When it worked for Constellation Energy, Baltimore Gas and Electric.
BGL, man. BGL, man. Nuclear power for the future.
Yeah, they that Calvert Cliffs nuclear plant.
Yeah,
They,
I've been there.
they, they would always talk about. They go, and it's clean energy, and they take the water out to cool the
They used to
rod.
they gave the
And
kids a little plastic thing, and it was like, this is just a little bit of uranium. It's cool.
just have to jam up your butt to get rid of that prostate cancer.
Well, because we had to fucking play under the power lines. We had that like orange death. And then we had like all the Dutch plagues on like every plant in the world. You know what I mean? Like we had some shit.
Well, I grew up in beautiful Mission Viejo, California, Reagan country. We called it. Orange County was his base.
Right on, right
They
on.
put
Is
our
that
power
kind
lines.
of where they used to shoot westerns in
Our
like a
power lines
facade, or
underground.
is that why it was Reagan country? They shoot westerns over there.
What's that?
Did they shoot westerns over there, or?
No, no, no. Politically,
Oh, it was, okay.
Orange County,
My whole
yeah,
life,
Orange
yeah,
County was
1980 plus.
a Reagan stronghold. I was raised there. Uh, I was raised in a very affluent community with in a very modest family. My father was a school teacher with 6 kids, so we didn't have a big pile of money, but we did well.
Right,
Yeah, so
right.
college. I went there for about 6 years. I think I got.
So you actually have five other siblings. I never knew that.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, Albert here in the chat went to Saddleback College. I went there for 6 years. Got two A's, couple B's, and a bunch of incompletes, D's and F's. But now look at me. I work at a university, so anyone can turn their life around.
with accolades, but also don't stop your education. Like that's something you did not do. You didn't stop your education.
So out there in Trabuco Canyon,
I mean, ever. You know what I mean? Like you never stopped your education. When we met, we were just like, thank you for the CDs. Here's a couple of books. These are interesting. And you parlayed them into the next, accreditation.
well, like I said, at the Saddleback College, I didn't stick there. I was younger, out of high school, and it just didn't work for me. I went
Right.
back. Then I went back to school at age 36, and it took me 11 years to get a bachelor's degree.
Wow.
So I got my bachelor's at age 47. Then I started the master's. That took me another 7 years to do that. I got that at 54.
Wow.
So
Okay. So after you had your basic 4-year program hit bachelor's, right? It took you
yeah,
another 7 to get
yeah.
into the masters, right?
To finish it, I started it right away. I just I get distracted. So and then
Well,
I
also,
tagged
I
on.
guess you have to work for it and pay for it and do things as you can. You know what I mean? And also maintain the rest of your lifestyle. And there's nothing against that. It's just I was trying to encourage people, don't stop your education because
Uh,
I hate making new online profiles. But if it's going to get me paid or educated or the kids educated, I will do it. You know what I mean? Like endlessly, endlessly.
yeah, I mean, I always read. I always had a thirst for knowledge. Just structured academia wasn't for me until I was a little bit older, and I saw, you know, elements of that were interesting to me. So, yeah, Albert
I
knew that. The
have,
chat lived in a Trabuco Canyon, the Forest
yeah.
Service. I kind of worked out there in I think it was Silverado Canyon. I worked yeah, Silverado Canyon. I worked at the
All right.
Majeska House. I painted it for my community service.
Before your community service.
Yeah, and before I went to school at age 36, there was a little bit of a decade and
Did
a
you
half
ever
there that I got in a
did you
couple
ever run ice?
ice like
Yeah, I don't want to say just something from the bikers, like that's kind of stuff. I don't want to say
oh,
nothing.
I used to cook that. I used to cook
Did you
that.
ever run it? Did you ever? Oh, you just made your own, yeah.
Well, I made my own, and I made it a lot for other people. So
Right. No, I understand that. I understand what you mean by that. Okay, okay. So you weren't working affiliated or something else. You were shaking, cooking, throwing, do it yourself.
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, but you weren't in like a organization. I hope because it's so dangerous to be under. You know what I mean? But
No,
you
no,
also have to get
I was
supply.
not
You
like
have to
with.
get distribution.
The babies are crying. Stop it! All right.
No, 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 no. So, his brother's not there.
Yeah, they're on that room. They probably fighting with each other.
No, I mean
They're,
the older one, the older one, the older one.
oh yeah, yeah, he's in there with them.
Well, shit. Well, go check on them because they are yelling. It's not cool. I'm here. I'm
Uh,
here.
they're fine. They're fine.
Okay. 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 Okay.
They're
Okay.
fine. It'll cool
Well,
down.
no, I know you have
Yeah.
the twins
So
and then you
I've
have
got
an
a couple
older.
questions here. So my bachelor's degree, I actually went back to get a music education degree, and I switched to American Studies, which is a cultural history degree. And Joe and his wife sent me a couple books that I later used. One of them, at least one, for my master's degree exams. I also got a master's degree in American Studies, and then uh, during the coronavirus, I got an associate's degree in Vietnamese language and got a TEFL, Teaching English as a Foreign Language certification.
Right. That's
So,
why I was asking you about ESL right now. So
so
Mayhem the Truth, yeah, Bruce Willis probably does look good. And Albert, exactly. Albert, that's exactly what I'm saying. So I mean, I understand that. You said that it took some time. It wasn't when you were in, excuse me, if it was Brookfield, I want to make sure, I don't know if it was college, you know, you were too young for that. But you appreciated the value of the academia, the umbrella of, academia, the ivory tower, because you already know these things. Like I said, the public doesn't even just catch on to with the BDSM and all these things, which are the other levels of the thing. And you have to know that spectrum to come put it in the filter of writing to deliver it to the world so that they understand. Because I've been caught on the phone with you when you're teaching ESL, English as a second language, people, and I didn't know I was on the mic with them, and there might be a few of them in the room, and I throw the F word, and I said, "Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry." And you said, "Well, that's a legitimate part of our language, and the Queen's English as any." So I feel bad about that, but the understanding is you were already specializing and understanding a whole bunch of the populace and the human experience. And you saw the value later in something that was more institutionalized and umbrellaed because you'd already had all of that in your background. And when you got it all, you got it all. And then when you got it all, you can come to the middle and deliver it right to us.
Well, yeah, that pretty much sums it up. That sums it up.
Only in a philosophical way, not in the details of your life. Only in a stupid sophist.
So, what's the question from the UK, Isaac?
Right on,
Is it,
man. Thank you, man. Please address them.
BDSM is bondage, discipline, sadomasochism. So you get people that it's not just sadism, um,
For sure.
and mostly it's a sexual kink. You know,
Right. Well, it isn't even though, because even in a relationship, like running a homestead or something, you have the people who are submissive, dominant. That's the BDSM. Like all those things in submission, domination. And all of the side by sides, they're not always even sexual. Sometimes people want to be controlled because they have too much responsibility somewhere else, so they need to have a release to be out of the decision making process. Or they have ponies and werekins and all kinds of things these days. And they're all right because they're younger, they're correct.
everything's right in a way. Everything's right in a way. So take
That's the symbol of youthful indiscretion right there, man. That the schnapps.
I used to like to drink a lot. Before I went to AA, so just so you people know, I'm an old drug addict here that turned my life around, went to school, and now I go to AA.
It's very cool. Yeah, you don't do
I
any
like,
drugs. You just no alcohol, no drugs.
nah, I'm not, I had enough. I did more than my fair share, and more than your fair share too. So you need to catch up.
Right, right. Well,
Uh,
I've been very slow. I'm waiting. No big deal. I have plenty of time. I do little. I'm a chipper, sipper. I've
I mean,
actually, I've never done math for 2 days. Like I have a rule. If you do math, you just, and you
well, I
have to
read
stop
something
before
today
two
that
days because after that it gets,
if you stay up for 60 hours, you will hear noises
that's
that
within
aren't
two
there. And I'm
days.
like,
Well, isn't it?
you know, you know what? Another thing I read today
It's
is
not
a
48. It's
very
like
common
78, isn't
method,
it?
a, a, a very common method of suicide in China
Right.
is to drink or is to eat half a pound of salt.
Jesus. I know you can
And I'm
do that.
like, well, I looked in this little Morton salt thing that I had over there. Um, it's a pound. So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, it's only half of that thing is a half a pound. And I never thought
And
about suicide by
no,
salt.
they've killed so many babies, John. Mothers kill babies with salt water like straight because they can just do 40 grams in the baby bottle, and that's it. And there are people who can't pay for the babies.
Yeah, just never. I never thought of salt as an unaliving tool.
What is it though to you? See, you're
Salt.
talking about Morton's iodized salt. It costs $1.29 for that pound round thing that you're talking about, right? But if I buy it non-iodized, it's 79 cents because they're trying to give you the iodine that you're not getting from the fish that you're not eating and shit. So
Oh,
the
is that what they're
salt
doing?
is only a staple because it's giving you a vitamin or mineral or whatever that you need. It's not because it's food, because it's not fucking food. It's a rock. It's a rock that sucks up the flavor of other shit, but it's not food. And so mothers have been killing their babies forever with salt.
Look, Isaac wants to know stuff about sex. Oh God, I have no idea.
He's talking about what? Math? I don't know
Uh,
anything about math.
Something about testosterone levels and androgenic
Oh,
alopecia.
don't do that. Don't take any of those things, man. The people like you said you're 60 or maybe. But
Yeah, no,
anyway,
I'm not a botanist. I'm an
no,
American
no, no.
studies
But I'm
teacher.
saying like a lot of people now they'll take hormone replacement therapies and things at your age and stuff like that. And I see them and they are spinning out to explosion. Like they have veins coming out. It's not something you want to touch. You know,
Oh no,
go
I have
ahead
no
and balance
interest in
yourself out with
stuff
some
like that.
mytophotons and micronutrients and shit. You're like, don't do it. Don't call the pharmacist about it.
No, no, I don't. I told you, I'm sober. I don't take drugs.
Well, there you go, man. You know, they're bad for your body.
Trying to
Nah, I mean,
undo the damage of before.
yeah, yeah, you did all of mine too, so that's good.
I'm
That's
still
good.
trying to recover from that arsenic poisoning, but
Did you? What were you doing? Writing a letter?
somebody
I
said.
always wonder, like, well, also there's the whole toxoplasmosis or whatever from the kitty turds, but I always thought, like, do they put something in the damn ink, or has it just always been there that the readers get all stupid?
Well,
Is
maybe.
there something in the ink?
Wasn't that a Ramon song? Somebody put something in my ink. Uh,
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. But I didn't listen to them after Phil Spector. I didn't listen to them after like what was that? End of the century or whatever.
End of the century, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't listen to them. I know what you're talking about because it came up in a fucking film and on MTV. But I did not. I was done. It was not me.
You know, I actually liked that end of the century album a lot.
I do too, but I retired there with them. You know what I mean? They did the Wall of Sound and I paid 11 cents for it on a table and I retired with them. And like when things happened after that, I was just like, you know, the best thing that you have is your archives. The best thing is the left and right separated shit where you could turn the bass on or turn the bass off. You know what I mean? Like that was really the best thing they had.
You know what I love about panned mixes is how the GPS in the car, when the Siri lady or whatever
Comes on one
GPS
side.
you're working at,
Yeah.
yeah, it comes on my front left speaker, and it's awesome when it like something like a complete guitar track, which is just hard left pan, just totally wipes out
Yeah, like yes,
because I
yes, it's
hear
still
things
playing over there.
that
Like
but I hear like something like in the bass or in the drums that I didn't necessarily notice because that guitar was always
for
there.
sure,
You know,
for sure, it could be like I said, like a prog band or something, you know, and you just didn't know that that was on that side, or they had quadraphonic. They recorded it in quad, and you've never heard it, but now it's on your Sirius, and they've recreated the quad.
I've never had a really anything that would be considered a very hi-fi stereo system. You know,
Never.
um, nah.
It
I mean,
sounded like some of the things that you recorded or reproduced were on like, sort of a high quality TDK TIAC or something. In the Longboard Records, the anthology of the Hags, in the Life
well,
is a True Nightmare, it sounded like you had a high end tape deck spinning, at maximum, power.
that life is the true nightmare. Let's see. That's
Yeah.
I think I pulled most of that stuff off of cassette recordings,
Right.
and then I
Right.
ran them through a digital Roland 1880 digital station, um, and I mastered them way too trebly, and
Right.
uh, and then I put that up. So that, yeah, I mean, but as far as like a stereo that I listen to
Like in your own
records,
home, in your own place. Yeah. No,
I
you
mean,
definitely used a high quality. Like I said, it had to be a TDK or better deck.
that was a Roland,
A
but I
Roland. There you
think
go.
but the tape deck that I pulled it out of was just a shitty, $30 boombox. So
Oh, you don't call them ghetto blasters?
a Ghetto Blaster
Oh,
boombox.
yeah. I
They're
was just
probably a
asking,
new, more modern name. Isn't like Ghetto Blaster very 80s and 90s? Uh,
I thought it was more your coast. You know what I mean? Like you're Long Beach, right? So
no, yeah, over right,
yeah,
yeah,
I thought
right
because they
by
always tell me they're like, "Oh no, I don't have it. I just have a ghetto blaster," and I'm like, yeah, a boombox," because we grew up and they had like clocks and shit on them. They had alarms on the
yeah.
East Coast. They had alarms and clocks and shit.
I mean, I always had like some sort of a Sears kind of record player type thing. I don't know. Speaking of like Long Beach here, yeah, I'm like half a mile away from the former VIP Records. Yeah, something like that. That's way high tech compared to what I've had. But I still, like actually, I'm waiting for this band out of Hermosa Beach, 1 Square Mile. We went to
Right on.
Australia with them. They got it. They have a new vinyl record coming out, so I ordered that. Been waiting for it for about 2 weeks, though.
Cool, cool. All right.
Yeah.
Well, you were talking about mastering it and putting in the treble. Who mastered that?
Oh, that album was mastered by Bernie Grundman. Bernie Grundman did Michael Jackson's Thriller and Lionel Richie's All Night Long, and we took it up to him, and we paid him. I think it was something ridiculous. You're talking 1986, and it was over. I think it was like $560 an hour to master that.
But he did all night long. You know what I mean? Like that was a huge thing when I was a baby because I was in a black neighborhood. All the like ladies, they didn't like the edgy shit that the young bucks were spitting. They liked the smooth stuff. You know what I mean? So that was a
Well, those
huge
two
thing.
albums, that Lionel Richie and the Michael Jackson Thriller, those were game changers.
For sure, for sure. Well, I mean, Thriller is like a number one forever type of thing where it's like 3 years at the top.
Dude, it's an awesome album because it's Michael Jackson and Toto. And Michael Jackson, Toto, and Eddie Van Halen with a Quincy Jones production.
Right, 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 right. Well, I was always a DeBarge guy, so I like
Oh man.
Rockwell, where like Michael Jackson didn't even get credit, but he shared, the vocal. He didn't even get credit, so I like
Oh, I
Rockwell. I
always
like that.
feel like somebody's watching
I have every
me.
version of it on vinyl
I think
anyway. Every version. But no, it's amazing that you get the
I,
same mastering engineer as Thriller. It's not even off the wall, guys. It's Thriller. And it was in 1986. That's my favorite year ever.
that was and that picture on that album. I wish I had the original drawing. The original drawing was a 3 foot by 3 foot. It
Right?
was done by a dude named Mark Allen. And when I saw the picture, I was just like, I mean, it's like fucking all pencil lines. I mean, it's hand drawn, and then he's got the red in there. I don't know exactly what that did. Um, he's living in Connecticut now. I hadn't probably seen him in 40 years. My buddy, who's down the street, is Sebastian Bach. Um,
Oh
he
yeah,
called.
yeah. You could probably go and shake hands with Sebastian Bach if you have a hotspot, so that you can walk us with you.
Yeah, I wish. Except if the baby, I guess I got to put them in their strollers and walk down there with them.
Well,
But
you could. I mean, if I don't know,
I,
my phone says it has a hotspot. You just kick it and then go. But it doesn't work that well, like where I'm at right now, 97 degree. It doesn't go
well,
very far.
I'm in such a densely populated area that
Oh,
Verizon
you
has
just pick up everybody else's Wi-Fi. It's actually easier for you. Yeah.
so I'm
Yeah.
surrounded by 5G.
Your damn buddy Sebastian Bach's down the road. Cardi B was fighting with Trump. And
Yeah.
therefore, how did you actually do this once you got the khaki pants, the
So I went
polo
out and
shirt?
I bought khaki pants. I bought a white polo golf shirt, and I think did they give us the MAGA
They
hats?
gave you
Yeah,
the red hats.
they
They didn't
did
make you
because
guys buy the red hats. They didn't want him to get paid for it.
I had to give it back.
Yeah,
They made me give the
they
hat back.
made them. They
So
made them. That's in
um,
decline. They made them.
yeah, so it was the Indecline people, and I got
Mm.
$100 for doing it. So but
It's
what we
worse
did
than
was
you
we went
think.
to
It's worse than you
Ho-
think.
Hollywood and Highland, which is where the Kodak Theater is, which is where they film shit like American Idols. Yeah, those guys. So it was a big hookup. Is one of their actions, and there were probably 20, 22 of us that we crawled around. The light turned green
I
and
know,
things
and
started
they made
walking.
you. I don't know if you guys did it, but they had like voiceover, so you guys were like, "Arf, arf," and you were like on chains, like walking on your knees and grinding. I don't know if they
It
just put it over, but I watch every In Decline. By the way, guys, you go to the website, it's thisisindecline.com, and then you go to the fucking YouTube, and then their shit gets censored all the time on the YouTube. But it does, you know what I mean? So well, you'll probably never get into
Heaven.
all of these
Oh,
things. You probably never get into all of them, but
I don't know how anyone has the time to do anything. Like I can't even. I don't even have the time to. Look at that. There we go. To
you know this guy, right? He's in Venice. He
Now is
plays
he?
with he plays with a boombox, and he's got like the one finger like sort of uh condition and stuff, and he dances
Uh,
around. He does Michael
oh,
Jackson and shit.
thalidomide. The thalidomide.
Yeah, it's a little mind. Yeah,
Okay. Ah,
yeah, for sure. Yeah. So yeah, that's who that is same shit.
okay.
But he's real good, and he does Billie Jean. Yeah, check on those kids, man. The older kids not.
I don't know what the trauma is. Maybe they just need to come out here. What's your trauma, buddy? What'd you do?
They're actual twins, man. They're actual twins. Too
Here,
close
come
to
here.
home.
Come here. Come on. Tiger bit lion. Oh, yeah.
All right, all right.
I think Tiger's sick of lion biting him. Come here, buddy. Why don't you sit by me? You can be on a podcast.
So Lion has been saved, or what? Lion has been saved.
Lion is here.
The one who was getting bitten is Lion, though. Yeah,
Oh no, this is Tiger.
Oh, okay, okay.
Lion is back there. Um,
No biting,
uh,
Tiger. No biting.
but usually it's Lion who does the biting. I mean, look at this. Look at that bite on his back there. Yeah, Lion's a little backbiter.
Well, I thought the one son was still there, like the 13-year-old.
Yeah, he's in the other room.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
But Yeah, these guys move. I mean, they're like Brian Bosworth in college on the defensive line. They move fast. Like you don't
Oh
even
yeah.
see them. It's like everything's perfect. The room is calm. Then all of a sudden, like out of the corner of your eye, you'll see like usually Lion zipping across, and he's pulling lion shit. Yeah, it's like it's hard to stop him. Like I mean, you're messing around with your phone, you're reading a
Well,
book.
they're also peers, you know what I mean? So they need to wrestle, you know. When our sons were less than a year apart and they had to like do jungle gym in their room, man, we had a lot of thoughts of like some of that they got to get out because that's just their sibling shit. You know, they're going to hook necks and throw each other around and do all these things, you know,
Well,
as a
that's what I
matter of
figure. These
establishing
guys,
boundaries.
it's only going to get rougher, and they're
It will.
twins.
Yeah,
They're
because I'm
twins.
talking about when they're 4 and 5, and they were like those barrel monkeys where there's like one hook this way, and they would just like regulate each other. Because every once in a while, you know, it's like, no, you don't
Yeah.
have dominance over me. I threw you, but they're both the same size. So yeah, so
Yeah,
you were on a chain, you were walking on your hands and knees, and
just
they
like
took
a
the
dog
hats
and walk,
back,
and we
but they
just
gave you $100
walked
bucks.
around. And I don't remember how long it was for. It's maybe I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, just enough for them to get their video.
Yeah, video is probably 7 minutes long for sure.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you something about those guys in decline through the whole situation. They have always paid. So all the way back to their first videos, they had adolescents. They had well, you know, like something Bosco was in, maybe Doggy Style, you know, all of that shit. They always paid. They paid in the way that, let's say, Canon says that the Tony Hawk skate games pay, because Tony Hawk skate games do pay. You know what I mean?
Really?
But In Decline has always paid too. But then they ran into Las Vegas against like Joe Morgo maybe, or somebody, and they dealt with Las Vegas people that squeezed them for a while. But they came back and they are now the anarcho collective that they are, and they do their installation. And you were part of it, and, you know, and they
Yeah.
continue to. So this is indecline.com is always there. Good luck with YouTube because they do censor most of those videos, but some of them are fucking compelling. You know, they really are.
Well, I like to do things. We did one thing. I don't know if you're familiar with a photographer, Spencer Tunick, and
I know Anton Corbin.
Spencer Tunick. Look up his work. What he does are these um, large scale nude photography things. So I
Right.
did one of his. Like I don't remember how I got it. Probably through Cacophony Society or somebody. They're like,
Okay.
yeah, Spencer Tunick wants to do this thing on January 1st,
And they're
2000.
nude.
Yeah. So we're
So
all in
first
shock.
of January, isn't that like a expression that like gypsies and carnies use? Like, hey, young buck, 1st of January, come on up. You know, I got to teach you the ropes. Isn't
Oh
that what they
no.
say? That's, I
I,
think 1st of January is an expression from the old zip zap. You know what I mean? Like,
that could be. Now I got to go and
so
join a freaking carnival
it
and
makes
learn that
the
shit.
sense of those things, you know, as the Upanishads do.
There's Lion.
What's up,
Look,
Tiger?
now this
How
one's
go you?
Lion.
Lion, you
He's
vicious soul.
recovered.
How are you? You look very calm. You look very happy.
I'll get that eye.
It's got to be tough being twins,
Yeah,
man.
tell him a
If I
story.
had to face myself all the time, I think I'd be worn out.
So January 1st, 2000, Spencer Tunick was doing this thing. It's called First
I think
Sunrise.
first of
So, and we could
January.
argue it all you want, but people go, well, the millennium didn't start officially till 2001. It started in 2000.
Oh, the
I don't.
Millennium thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah, I
silly.
understand the math. And
Silly.
there are probably about 150 of us, and we went to Chinatown, and everyone gets naked, and we went out in the middle of the street, and we all did this pose, and then we did back one by Fu Young thing. Actually, I have a picture. If you scour through, the thousands of pictures of my Facebook, there's a picture of the one by the restaurant. But yeah,
Right on.
naked pictures in public. Why not, right? You
Right,
know,
right, right, right,
you,
right.
you tell me there's something going on, and I don't have something booked already that day. I'm in. I want to be part of it. One day I'm going to be
That's
dead.
amazing, man. What's up, Fresh Prince, man? It's been a little while. How you doing, bro? Everybody sub up to Fresh Prince, man. Oh, by the way, yeah, definitely mod. You were mod before. I apologize. I had to do all of them out, so there you go. You should be in blue, Fresh Prince. I apologize for that. I had to get rid of everybody a moment. Haven't seen you since, but welcome back. I've known him for like a year, John, so it's a big deal. He's a cool bro.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Nothing about my studies relates to anything that we're talking about, except, I mean, maybe in the big scheme of things. I mean, American studies is one of the broadest liberal arts majors that really uh, tries to examine what cultural things of any number of groups impacts society. So, I
Right.
mean, other things, the Cardi B thing, the Spencer Tunick stuff,
So
the
if you really think of it as a salad rather than a mixing bowl, that's
yeah,
what it is.
right.
Every component is still intact. And that's why even when you were in an academic environment, you didn't appreciate it yet because you hadn't dug from the other side before that you went up there to the ivory tower and saw, the limited umbrella of academia.
But one of the things that encouraged me to redo my academia as my wife, ex-wife
Mhm.
now. When I met her, she was going to
First
use
or first,
second wife, second
second wife. Okay.
ex-wife. Um,
Right on.
she was going to UCLA for political science and getting her doctorate, her PhD. And it was just like, I just started reading some of the materials and looking at it and went, hey, this isn't something I could like doing.
Right.
And so,
37 or so, Mr. Dahmer.
so she, awful, awful woman. No, she was great. 36.
Hey,
Yeah.
second wife, man. Yeah, yeah. I said
Yeah.
37 or so. I was as close as I could be. And
Wonderful lady.
Rodriguez.
She
Hey,
motivated me.
Rodriguez probably Albert followed your link, right? When you shared it, he followed your link because he already knows. He
Yeah.
already knows.
So, I mean,
But they didn't all know about In Decline, so they can look at that too. So
Decline is I mean, it's interesting. They're performing. There's 7.5 million people on this earth. And I mean, 4,000 different gods. You know,
sure, when we actually connected, there was 6 billion people on Earth. And it
yeah,
went so far up, but then we had a pandemic and it didn't go so far up. So the things that even since we've acquainted ourselves have been insane. There was 6 million. You could ask Alexa, she'll say 6.1, 6.3. I don't know.
yeah,
Yesterday or today.
yeah.
But then the pandemic happened and it
That reduction in population was why I got the twins. I got to do my part. My part.
there's always balance hiding in the background. Is what's happening. There's always a balance. That's not exactly the odds, but it is in your favor. The odds are in your favor. But you waited.
Yeah. Uh, you kind of froze on me. Maybe you're.
You froze too.
Oh, there you are. You back?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh,
It's
we
just
maybe we
it's
both
just
froze.
competing stream. You froze to me too. Oh, now it's Albert Fish.
Okay.
Who else? Who's Richard Ramirez? Are you next? We now have serial killers in the chat. So cheers.
I like that. Let's see, serial killers.
Where is
I get this thing on my Instagram feed. It pops up. It's called I don't know. It's like scary facts and
Okay.
stuff. And man, it
Okay.
just rolls through. I forgot about a bunch of like serial killers, like Dean Coral and stuff like that. It's just like, oh, yeah.
What's
back in
up,
the
Gut
80s, I
Rot?
read a lot.
What's up, Gut Rot? The Manchester Ripper is on his way. We're ready, man. We're ready. Well, the most prolific person was basically, John Wayne Gacy doing 33 or so, and then you got Henry Lee Lucas who did whatever, but he claimed many, many more, and obviously he did. Maybe he did 66. I don't know, but prove it. So you got Gacy with his 33, and he's not even here yet. Fish is, and the the killer of whales that killed whales.
Well, I mean, is serial killer even a thing now, or are we just like spree shooters? Did we just?
Right, right. That has become very popular a couple times a year. Yeah. Sometimes they said it was going on every month, like a year ago or something. You remember that? They said there was a school shooter every month. I was like, is that real?
I
How
thought
many
I
months?
thought it was every day.
Jesus.
Yeah, you read all these things. I mean, I guess it depends on how you quantify the data. I'm not a
Oh
statistician, but
man. I don't. I hope it wasn't every day. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't.
I get most of my information from memes. So
Right
there was
on. Right
one
on.
there's one meme that says something like a toddler has shot a person every week so far this year, and then the response to it is somebody needs to stop him. It's like
Well, lock him up before he did it, I guess, is the answer. You know what I mean?
toddlers. Oh, I think this one took a big turd. Something smells. And it's
Yeah.
like
Okay.
look
Okay.
at they
So
do
you have
that.
to do that, right? Or
What?
does
Uh,
he do it?
what? Change himself?
No, obviously not.
Nah, nah.
Nah. Well, I
Actually, I
don't
ordered
know.
because I have to order two of everything because if I only get one, they fight over it. So I actually ordered two little, baby toilets.
Yeah.
So they should be coming sometime in the next week or so. And I
Do
can
they
teach.
sing like "ta-da" every time you drop something?
I bought the $10 one, so I don't think it's
Okay.
going to have a musical
It's
tone.
basically a bucket, yeah. A pretty bucket, yeah.
It is. What I
Now
found out, like, the
we had
boys.
stuff like that. We got stuff that was like, "Hooray!" You know?
I totally see it, but I have really as far as the babies. It's a commercial industry. Like they tell you things. Oh my God, you have to have a baby shower, and you need the proper changing table and a crib, and and all this crap. And I got none of that.
Hey, they told me you can't sleep with her and you can't put her in the bassinet. And so we had to buy another, or they wanted us to buy another crib. And I was like, no, I'm sleeping with her. And they were like, that's not recommended. Co-sleeping is bad. I was like, is it illegal? No, but it's bad. If it's
We
not
co
illegal, you know what I mean? That's it.
we co-sleep, but I mean, their mother is also she's Vietnamese, and over there, co-sleeping is the practice.
Right. Because
So
I would never close this eye. I always had this eye on her, and she would go like this. Mm, mm. She didn't even have her finger work. She would just and I would look at her, and she'd be like this, and I was like, "Oh, you're
oh,
hungry."
Diddy.
She was like a bird, and she would just be like, She didn't have finger use, and then she would go, and I was like, "You're hungry," but I would never see that if she was sleeping in a crib, never. And I didn't have my wife there to take care of it either. You know what I mean? So I really didn't. No Diddy. All right, man. They look chill now. If you have to deal with changing, then deal with changing, man. Speaking of toilets, though, I did hear that one story where Mark Dead licked the toilet and got sick. What happened?
I don't recall. I
I
mean,
have
I
heard
know, I
that
know
he took a toilet seat.
The show was at Flashdance. I believe it was the Hags, Love Canal.
Okay.
Oh my God, a couple other bands. You would probably know better is Arab. He's
Okay.
got an
Are you in the
archive.
house? Can you tell us?
But you know, apparently we were playing. We were out freaking probably hammered and methed out or something.
So
And
tell me about that place because it sounds like a strip club by name.
uh, Flash Dance. Well, you could figure it. This was 1984, 85.
God
So
damn. God damn.
probably. Um, I
That's a
mean, there was another
long
club
time
called.
ago, John.
Yeah, so we're talking, 40 years ago when the movie Flashdance came out. So it was probably like somebody tried to start I don't know, a club and capitalized off that name.
Just like
Uh,
buy a couple of strobe lights and put a DJ up there and play some fucking Kenny Rogers and make a million like selling what do you guys have back then? I don't know, like Bush Light or something. I don't know, whatever.
we didn't have Natty Bow like
There you
that
go.
out there. Don't give me a Natty Bow. I guess our
I grew up
Natty.
with that. I grew up with this Blue Bull and the fucking Billy D and shit, the Colt 45 and Blue Bull. That's all I knew.
I think our Natty Bow would have probably been like PBR. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Cores? You have cores at all? What's up,
oh
not
yeah,
good Dan? How you doing, bro?
yeah. Coors is big. Coors
Yeah,
and
because it's
Budweiser,
Colorado Rockies, right? Not
like
that far.
like dad beers. There's also things like Olympia beer. Oli, Hams. Um,
Olympia, fuck yeah, I drank Olympia. That shit's good. I used to smoke Chesterfields too, though. No filter, bro. Fresh Prince says he wasn't born back then. No, hell no, you weren't. Not good Dan might not even have been born since the
yeah,
90s. I don't know.
no, nobody has a turd. They just supposed to be farting over here.
Right,
Yeah,
right, right.
they do that. I think they're little gas bombs.
Well, I'm glad you didn't. Well, anyway, I'll just say, like, in the shortest way possible. I heard he took the toilet seat off of the female and
Yeah,
he
he went
licked it
into
up
the
on stage.
bathroom and there was a loose one, and he pulled it off, and then he licked it, and then wore it as the necklace. I just don't recall him getting sick. Um, Probably did though.
Right, 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 right.
Look at this
Well,
shit.
I don't think I would get sick if I did such, but that's not advisable. His transponder is now back on. It wasn't that much, it was 40.
Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, see, here's our world. We just put a bunch of mattresses on the ground. That's where
Right,
we
right.
all sleep. That's like
No,
a.
I straight up sleep on the floor, so that's nothing.
So I actually have a nice bed frame that I really like. It's a Thuma frame. It's got like that Japanese joinery. I spent a lot of money on it. A lot of money for me, but not a lot for other people. Um, yeah, watch babies.
Oh, geez, Dan,
But
I understand and appreciate what you're talking about, in that sort of fetish way, but you can't be surprised if that kind of thing gets your channel taken down, Dan.
go,
It
go
was
ahead.
a throwaway channel, right? If you're doing fart videos, brother. I mean, I get it. Actually, it seems like they're really having a good time, but hey, don't be
But
surprised.
so I can't remember. I had a thought going there, and now I
I'm
forgot
sorry. I'm sorry. He had a fart just like he heard, and so
it.
that blew the whole room.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Oh, okay, okay. So, applesauce. She actually hit the phone, my daughter, but applesauce is good. Yeah, we need to go back right now. Yeah, we need to go back. We haven't been, but they have a new thing now. They're sending us. It's like almost it's some kind of grocery money because our daughter is the only one still in school. But anyways, everybody in school. So we'll get that straight, and we'll go back to the food bank too. But hunters, hunters like send shit to the food bank that nobody eats, like pigtails and shit. Like. Oh, and then there's companies that make like industrial waste into like corn, rice, and bean paste and shit. And they just like straight deliver it to food banks as if it's a service, but it really is industrial waste. It really is. Right. Like, no, it would be called awful, correct? Like the OFFAL, the awful. And I did. I made my son a really good barbecue pork sandwich out of tails, but there's so little meat that I had to do it with a razor blade actually. No, I mean I'm all about that and things that are called awful like the other derivations of food, that's fine. It's just the community that they're serving doesn't eat it. So even if they just deliver actual like deer hawks or something, the community doesn't eat that. So it's just because hunters wanted to shoot more things. And when I say industrial waste, I
Just
mean like
for
soy
laughs.
pet powder and shit.
Yeah, yummy stuff. And when I was in Australia, I ate some
For
kangaroo,
real?
right? Because,
Is
well,
it sweet?
yeah, yeah. So, it's like it's very similar to venison,
Right on. Right on.
I thought. And yeah, so we're out there. We had a barbecue. It was on skewers. We actually had kangaroo and venison, so it was like a total gamey meat day.
Right.
And Mike caught a fish. He went out in the little lake. Mike likes to
Uh,
fish, singer for ham apples,
okay.
and he went out in the little stream and caught a fish. So that was there. I didn't try that. It wasn't very large, so I didn't think I got to it. Anyway, so I ate this kangaroo, and then I was like, yeah, I love kangaroo. So I looked it up, and 30 years ago, it wasn't certified for human consumption. It was dog food. So I'm like eating it. I go, I just ate freaking dog food.
Well, hey man, hey man, you can eat Vietnamese food that is dog food as well. And the people that I know here try to ask, and like nobody here does that. You know what I mean? They don't serve dog food with blood
When
gravy.
I was in Tan Hoa, which is probably about an hour outside of Hanoi,
Right,
we were at a market, and the word in Vietnam for meat is tit, Thit, tit. And so, like, tit gà is chicken, tit ba is beef, tit ka fish, and tit cha is dog meat. Uh, so I'm like through, and I read enough to know kind of the small basic building blocks. I mean, I have a degree in the language, but I'm not. I'm far from fluent. And
right. But it's
and
le chow or whatever.
It's a tit cha. So I'm walking in through this market, and there was a table, and it had a big sign that said tit cha. I went, oh, it's freaking dog meat. And they have all the different cuts of dog out there. It's very, very much a darker purple than than beef.
Right,
And
right, right.
um, I didn't eat it though, but you know
But
what? If somebody
so
cooked
that's
it, I'd
kind of
like to
more like
try
a
it.
rabbit or something like that. It's not a big deal, really, but it's just a cultural difference. You know what I mean? But that's more like a rabbit. They're like that.
Well, I think it's a poor person's meat. Um, But what's the difference between eating a dog and a cow, or like basashi? That raw horse meat that's a
Yeah.
delicacy in Japan.
Yep,
You
yep.
know,
And it's always been in
and
dog
if you,
food and
yeah, and what do you
well,
think we're
actually,
getting
that's what I was
when
saying
we're
when
eating?
instead of saying "chow," like that, I was saying it as a French, you know what I mean? Like I was saying how it relates to la chien, like the dog.
Oh yeah,
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 yeah. So
yeah.
I was doing that on purpose actually, but just
Okay,
because.
I didn't catch the language thing because I was just
You shouldn't. You
focused
shouldn't. You shouldn't. It was like
on
more
eating
subliminal.
dog.
It's more
Like I said, which I'm
subliminal.
not opposed to. I eat a bunch of bugs and some weird birds and shit out there. Um, but there's this one dish. It's like kind of like a porridgey dish with this pork in it. And
Right.
I was eating it. There was a part of the pork, and it's like, okay, I would just pick out the parts I liked, and the big fatty thing. I
Right.
had no idea what it was. So we're at the market the other day, actually about a month or so ago, and my wife orders pig's feet. So the big freaking pig's feet. And I
Right.
didn't watch how they package them up or everything. And I get for dinner that night, it's this thing that I'd been eating, and I went, "Oh, I've been eating pig's feet."
Whoa. Yeah.
The butcher takes them through the bandsaw, and cuts them off into like, discs, and
Right. Right.
I was like,
Well, that's
"Oh,
what I'm
that's
saying. Like,
interesting."
even that tail, it had meat, but it was like spiraled through. So I had to use a razor blade, and I took 3 tails and I made him one pulled pork sandwich, essentially.
Yeah, I think oxtail is supposed to be a treat, like a delicacy.
Well, as far as I understand, that's the kind of broth that they put pho in. So they cook it down, you know. But yeah, and I'm sure you could do that with pigtail to make a broth, but I wasn't even into that game. You know what I mean? I was just like, I have a handful of pigtails. What do I do? I wasn't even into that level. It's like, oh, you could stew them down, and I think all the pho starts with like an oxtail broth.
I have to ask my wife. She does bone. Um, she just
Okay,
buys these big beef bones, and
right,
has the butcher cut them up, and then she cooks it for about 6 or 7 hours. So it's a very oily thing. So I don't know if that's like the marrow, the bone marrow coming out.
right, right.
So
Sounds good. It's what you call unctuous. Actually, that's the word, right?
so Theodore Robert Bundy is a fartologist. I see.
Yeah, he's been sniffing them long enough, you know. He's graduated from yeah, never mind.
Should I
That's
go circle this
fartology for you.
cop?
That's fartology for you.
Fartologist. I got my a doctorate in fartology, um, with a minor in flatus. Look at me using my turn signal with a cop sitting right there.
Oh yeah, okay. All right, be cool, be cool.
There's always a parking lot cop here. This is kind of a shitty neighborhood around this college. Not
Yeah,
shitty, but yeah, they
yeah.
shoot people. So I guess yeah, shitty. And I've been bringing her to this school for I don't know 6 months now, and there's always a cop here when I come to pick up, and
Yeah.
usually one when I go to drop off. So I think they
Why
just
don't
don't
you why
want
don't
to.
you just like wave at him, make friends with him, and like do it forever? You know what I mean? So that
Oh,
he already sees you coming, recognizes your car. That's what I do. I like what do you call it? Like get their defenses down or whatever, de-escalate
oh,
or whatever.
I'm a 60-year-old white dude. Cops don't even think about me.
Oh, okay, okay.
And he's probably 70. There's a park across the street back there. Um, me and the big boy went over there, and we are looking for like rec programs and stuff. And there was a cop sitting in the parking lot eating his lunch. So I walk up to him and went, "Hey, I don't mean to bother you during your lunch. So if you want me to come back later, that's cool." And he goes, "No, no. What do you need?" And I go, "Well, tell me about this park."
Right,
And he goes, "No, you don't want to bring your kid here." And like, okay. And he said I should go across the town where Milliken was, and um, is very very directing me out of this neighborhood into a more Caucasian zone, I guess. But I don't know.
oh yeah, like you needed
I,
that
I,
assistance, you needed that assistance.
yeah, I don't know. That's I mean that's what cops look
They
at me
called
like,
it in first. They were like, okay, this is we're gonna assist the citizen back to the safe zone.
Yeah.
10
But
4.
it's probably the same cop,
Yeah,
working
yeah.
that 3 to 11 shift.
I always worked at like 7-Elevens and shit, so I met all the late night cops. They, they would fucking razz me. They would fucking turn on the thing, make me run, and then they would like on the thing. You know what I mean? So if you ingratiate yourself, you know what I mean, so that you disappear, you're just like not a threat anymore.
The
They know you
7-Eleven,
on a
right?
surface level, and they consider you familiar. They know you on a surface level, but it's easy.
The 7-Eleven, a block that way on Pacific Coast Highway and MLK.
How
That's
bad
where
is it there?
VIP.
Is it all locked up and shit? Like you can't just go fill your own drink, or how bad is it?
I don't know. I've never been in there. That's where the VIP records used to be. Where
Okay.
all those Long Beach things. So it's a block away. So I've heard they still have the VIP records sign up on the marquee.
Wow.
Um, and somebody told me that the 7-Eleven actually has a VIP records merch section.
Oh, damn, with
As
like
a
t-shirts that they can keep.
homage to it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
one
cool.
of these days I'll stop in there.
Yeah,
And
man. Yeah, man. I have
since
a
I quit
friend in
drinking, I
Maryland.
don't have much. I quit drinking and I quit buying lottery tickets, so I don't have
So you
much
got a lot
cause
more
to go.
income there. Yeah. There's
I
more
you know what?
disposable dollars.
I figured every time, like I was going once or twice a month, and whenever I needed laundry machine change or something, I'd go there and go to 7-Eleven. I'd pull out like $60, and then I'd buy. Uh, oh, here she comes. I'd buy lottery tickets. I'd buy like 11 or $12 worth, and I never win. And I went, you know
No.
what? I should just take that 11 or $12 and buy crypto.
Oh
So
yeah.
for a couple of years there, I was just taking that money and buying crypto, which is a different kind of lottery.
Yeah, I can't do it, man. I'm just too practical for it. I can't do it. But no, definitely you can save all that money. And I was being hyperbolic about, hello, how you doing? I was being hyperbolic about 7-Eleven being all locked up and behind key, and but some of them are a lot rougher. So I've never met you before. My name is Joe. It's nice to meet you. I hope you have a safe ride. Oh, more of these serial killers and Dan. So everybody's cool there. That's good. I don't know if you're muted or frozen, John. No, Albert, that is his wife. He is picking her up. But I think we got frozen, John. I can't hear you. Maybe you muted or maybe not. More important that you be careful and don't hit anything. Can you you're not audible. Yeah, you are not audible. You audio nada. Just be safe. Just be safe. All right. See you, bro. Cheers, man. Cheers. All right, everybody. Goodbye. Goodbye. Have fun. Shit.